Jacksonville, Los Angeles, Maine. Today, there's no one around. It's too bad. It's a good day. It's a good day to call some friends and see if they'd like to come over. Shoot the breeze, have some pizza, maybe watch an old movie on TV. Mark these. We'll try to find them. We'll write these books. We know right where they are. That's why we always here someplace. Is this? Oh, it's the wrong book. And then we do that. See if this is it. See if this is it. Turning to the Psalter. Not S-A-L-T-E-R, P-S-A-L-T-E-R. Turning to the Psalter. It's a quiet morning, time for matins. The sun sending its preface through the maple's leaves. My God is here, sitting beside me on the porch. We're waiting for the day's new full light. My God, of course, is not very well known in eschatological circles. I call my God, God. Just as I do each morning, God also watches what comes into the space the eye creates. We do this throughout the day, glancing out the window, or on the way to whatever is on the list. I like being religious in this unimportant way. Just me and God, worshiping by watching. God's glad we can sit here or rake leaves, or clean the basement, or listen to Leadbelly. Yesterday, I removed a dear friend from the Rolodex. There in blue ink was his name and his late wife's and his address for the past 11 years. They will be staying here now. I took a bit of time and looked at their names and the grace the record. 34 years sending, receiving, non-obligated holiday cards. Before tossing the worn-down address into the recycle bin, I showed it to God, who nodded, took it, smiled, then led me outside to the back door, where God knelt and set it on the first step. And this is another poem for those of you who write or are in writers' groups, or the question that you get all the time, is my poem any good? I actually wrote out a list of 25 other questions you could ask, or 26, I don't forget how many, but about that many questions that you could ask that would be better than is my poem any good? My favorite is my poem a turtle crossing a highway? Title of the poem is The Mallards, Ducks, the Mallards. Yesterday, I was sitting outside a cafe with a cup of coffee and an acquaintance. who wanted to know if this poem was any good. After reading it, I looked up and saw a male and a female mallard waddling down the walk. She stopped at a puddle and drank. Then they sat at the edge of the sidewalk. I watched them as a man walked by, too close, and they rose, then settled themselves instead on the curb. They were far from any water. Sure, I said. It's good. It's the one I wanted. Well, Laurel's already has talked so eloquently and sensitively about what all of us are going through. I hope you're an introvert. I haven't, other than being afraid and concerned and grieving, which are three kind of big things. I haven't really noticed any difference in my life, as introverted as I am. Looking at the screen is terrifying enough, but we'll do one pandemic poem. The title's Her Bed. During the worst of the storm, lightning glazed the night's same sky, thunder loud enough to keep her from hearing her sigh, as she tried again to stop imagining. Her cat leaped onto the bed, crossed over the pillows on the left side, then jumped back down onto the uncarpeted oak floor, over which on moving day there had been rose-colored tile. The cat then dashed back to his sleep spot in the clothes closet under the trousers, dangling to a half-inch from the floor. The crocuses were up and opening, some yellow, almost gold, some reverently purple. But a frost could lean them into the mulch. The pandemic was over, but a pandemic, as Cuomo said, may never be dead. Another slash of lightning split her window pane. She had spent her day listening to her complete collection of Dvorak. It, of course, took all day. She had decided to read the background of each piece. She paused once to call her sister, but all she could think to say was, "I am so glad I know hardly a thing about music." Her sister asked how she was, so she said that she'd had 2 burritos for a late lunch. Funny, burritos and Dvorak. "I want to listen to some more now," she said. "Bye." It kept raining. It kept thundering all afternoon into the evening. Her cat finally came out, went to his bowl for dinner. She listened on as the sun set, and then the cat again leaped onto the bed. She smiled remembering how hard a time she'd had learning to ride a bicycle. And the last poem, I was reading this essay. I hope some of you have read it. It really, really cracked me up. How many editors? I don't know. I better be careful here how many editors know how to write poems, but or know that you don't really write them. They don't seem to know that. Your poem would be better if you just, I would get, no, then it would be. So I'm reading this essay, and this essay is it's talking about what he looks for in a poem to publish, you know. So then, of course, I scramble to read that so I can figure out what he wants to, so I can write a phony poem and send it on to him, you know, so that I can say I was published in Larry's Lunchbox or whatever it was. One of his things was the first line must be a grabber. The first line must be a grabber. Now you can imagine the title. The title is After Learning a Literary Magazine's Editor Expects the First Line to be a grabber. Call me Ishmael. The rock band 4 blocks away sends its Party Till the Sun Comes Up beat, wrapped in aberrant guitar riffs onto the porch where among the pots, nailed to the railing and trailing, creeping Jenny down the slats, I listened and wondered just a bit, just for a moment, where it all went, leaving me here in the early September air. The book I'm reading has no main character. That's how it's been for a while. Mostly we do our work, look back for a second, recall when we believed we'd gotten a good job, look forward, knowing after 30 years we didn't. What did we know? What do we know now? I know the band is rocking and that those there are likely dancing, like having a third or fourth drink. Absolutely sure they're having a really good time. Thank you all.